Hello friends, welcome to part 2 of the step-by-step tutorial for this top. Part 1 can be found at the link in the description box. You can also find the list of the materials below. And with that, let's begin. When you have all of your squares, we're going to connect the left and the right sides with a back loop slip stitch. Join the orange yarn into the upper right corner of the square and then chain 3. Chain 3 here will count as 1 double crochet or 1 stitch. Next, double crochet into each stitch across. Coming down here to the end of the row, we will continue making the eyelets or the opening for our crossback ties. Continue with a chain of 6 and then slip stitch into the last stitch. Chain 1 and then make 2 single crochet in the first row of the square. That's 1, 2 single crochet. Next, single crochet in the chain 1 space and then make 1 single crochet into each of the stitch until you reach the middle part of the side of the square. When you get to the middle part of the square, we will continue with a chain of 6. And then single crochet in the next stitch. Continue with a single crochet until you reach the end of the row. At the end of the row, we will single crochet in the corner stitch, chain 6, and then single crochet back in that same stitch or chain. Now working on the opposite side of the squares, we will continue with a chain of 3. Again, chain 3 will count as 1 double crochet or 1 stitch and make a double crochet into each stitch. So you're basically repeating the pattern that we did from the very beginning. So continue with that until you reach the other side of the square, and I will meet you there. At the end, we will chain 1 to close the round. Cut the yarn, and then we will continue with making the cups. For the cups, start by making a chain that will go from the underbust and then towards the nipple. For the size that I'm making, that will be 13 chains. From here, we will be using a 3mm hook for the rest of the pattern. When you have your chain, you're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and then double crochet into each chain. At the end of the row, we will make another 2 double crochet in the very last chain. That means there are 3 stitches in the last chain. Chain 1, and then make another 3 double crochet back in that same last chain. Next, continue with a double crochet until you reach the end of round, and then chain 3. Turn your work. Now round number 2, double crochet into each stitch until you reach the middle of the cup. Once you get to the middle, we will work 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, and make another 2 double crochet back in that same chain 1 space. Continue with a double crochet into each stitch. End of row number 2 or round number 2, chain 3 and turn your work, and then you're going to repeat row 2 or round 2 until you have a total of 9 rows. At least that is for the size that I'm making. If you prefer a larger cup, you may need to extend your beginning chains and then work your rows as you go and add as many rows as you need. Once you have your cup, and then we will continue with the next part. Chain 1 and make 2 single crochet in each row at the bottom of the cup. Continue with this until you reach the end. Chain 1 and cut the yarn, and repeat the pattern from the beginning to make the second cup. Once you have your cups, we're now going to connect it to the panel. So for this, we're going to flip our work from the wrong side, and then we're going to position our cups in the middle of the panel. So for this, we need a stitch marker, but you can completely skip this part as long as you know where to place or where to connect your cups. Starting with the left cup, I'm going to slip stitch through the first stitch of the cup and then through the stitch where the stitch marker is located, and then we're going to slip stitch in the back loop all the way until the end of the last single crochet of the cup. Fasten off, and then we will do the same thing for the second cup. So again, the stitch marker only serves as the placement so that you will not get lost during the seaming of the cups. So we will repeat the same thing as the first cup. Slip stitch in the back loop all the way across. Now the last part of this top is the straps. So attach the yarn into the upper right corner of the panel, and then from there we're going to single crochet into each stitch until you reach the top of the cup. Here at the top, we will single crochet in the chain 1 space, and then we will make a chain of 450. But if you prefer a longer back ties, you can add as many chains as you need. And once you have your chain, you're going to slip stitch in the second chain from the hook and slip stitch into each chain. Single crochet to the chain 1 space, and then single crochet into each stitch at the opposite side of the cup all the way until you reach the top part of the second cup. From there, you will repeat the same number of chains and then continue with the pattern all the way until the end. Fasten off and cut the yarn. Next, you will place the straps at the back side of the panel, and then from there you're going to fasten off and weave in all of the ends. Friends, that marks the end of this tutorial. You can find part 1 of this video at the link in the description box. If you find this video helpful, please consider to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.